Welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Book Digest. You know, if you're a trader, you absolutely know the feeling. You've studied the charts, you know your system inside and out. But then, when it's time to actually pull the trigger, something just holds you back. Well, today, we're diving into Traders Troubleshooting Tools by the legendary Bill Williams and his team. This is a book that promises to bridge that incredibly frustrating gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. And this quote, man, it just nails the whole philosophy of the book. What the authors are saying is that most traders don't fail because they don't know enough stuff. No, they fail because of these predictable, repeatable mistakes in how they think and how they act. It's that gut-wrenching gap between knowing the right move and having the discipline to execute it. This book isn't just a map, it's the bridge to get you across that gap. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to really explore that theory-practice gap and figure out why it's so darn common. Then we'll dive headfirst into the biggest battlefield for any trader. What's going on inside your own mind? After we've wrestled with the psychology, we'll get into the nitty-gritty technical fixes, learn how to manage trades like a pro, and finally, wrap it all up by talking about the path to building real, lasting consistency. Okay, so this first section really just sets the stage for everything else. The best way to think about this book is like a troubleshooter's manual for your trading. It kind of assumes you already get the basics of the Bill Williams framework. Instead, it focuses on all the common pitfalls and mistakes that trip up even really experienced traders. And that leads us right to the elephant in the room. The single biggest obstacle that the authors point to again and again is the trader's own mind. They make a super powerful case that your psychological hurdles are just as real and, frankly, just as important as any technical indicator you could ever put on your chart. The book asks a question that every single one of us needs to answer honestly. Why is second-guessing your system so incredibly destructive? Come on, we've all been there. The signal is crystal clear, but then that little voice of doubt just creeps in. The authors argue that this single act of hesitation is probably the most common and definitely the most costly mistake a trader can ever make. Now, this slide right here perfectly illustrates the core conflict. When you start filtering your system signals through your own gut feelings, you're basically re-injecting all the biases and emotions that the system was designed to get rid of in the first place. Think about it. The signals you feel most hesitant about are often the ones that go against the crowd, and sometimes those are the biggest winners. A purely rule-based approach trusts the cold, hard math over the long run. So what's the fix? Well, the book offers a really simple but powerful three-step cure. Step 1, just stop overriding your signals. Seriously, if you're losing money, don't start cherry-picking trades. Instead, go back to your journal and ask yourself, am I even following my own rules? If the answer is yes, then you have to trust the statistical edge of your system. And of course, second-guessing isn't the only mental trap we fall into. The book highlights a whole bunch of these classic mistakes. You know, getting timid and cutting your position size after a loss, or getting greedy and doubling down after a win. These are purely emotional reactions, not strategic decisions. Same thing goes for snatching a tiny profit on a winning trade just because you're scared to give it back. Every single one of these is a detour from a disciplined, profitable plan. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why, the psychological forces that sabotage us. Now, let's get our hands dirty with the what, the specific technical mistakes that traders make. The book gives an incredible amount of detail on how to troubleshoot the core indicators of the Williams framework. First up is the fractal. At its heart, it's a really simple, almost elegant pattern. It's a 5-bar formation that signals a potential breakout. You see that middle bar sticking out like a peak or a valley? That's a clear sign the market is coiling up, getting ready to make a move. This is a cornerstone of the whole system for finding high-probability entries. But like everything in trading, the real world is messy. So what happens if two of the highs are identical? What do you do when your daily chart is screaming buy, but your hourly chart is whispering sell? This is where the book gets so good. It dives deep into these edge cases and gives you crystal clear rules for how to handle that ambiguity and confirm when a signal is truly valid. Next up, we have the famous alligator indicator. These 3 moving averages are designed to answer one simple but crucial question. Is the market trending, with the alligator's jaws wide open and feeding, or is it just chopping around, consolidating, with the alligator sleeping and digesting its last meal? And this slide right here shows the real-world value of this book. It actually tackles the tough questions that other trading books just ignore. How do you know if the alligator is truly sleeping, or if it's just taking a quick breather before the next big run? How do you manage a trade when those lines are just starting to spread apart? The authors give you concrete guidance, even for notoriously tricky markets like equities that have those big overnight gaps. Okay, so you've conquered your inner demons, your signals are crystal clear, now comes the moment of truth. This is the part of the process where most traders either make or break their accounts, managing the live trade. I'm telling you, this section of the book is pure, practical gold. The Williams framework has a very specific rule-based approach for adding to a winning position, and the authors stress that this is one of the most misunderstood parts of the system. You don't just blindly pile in. No, you enter on a valid signal, and then you add to your position at the next predefined signal points, usually in smaller graduated amounts, all while meticulously managing your stop loss for the entire combined position. And speaking of stop losses, oh man, the book is incredibly clear on this point. There is one golden, unbreakable rule. You never move your stop further away to give a losing trade more room to breathe. That's not trading, that's just hoping. This common mistake of widening a stop is one of the fastest, most reliable ways to completely blow up your account. All right, let's move to our final section and see how we can tie all these pieces together. Look, getting it right once or twice is easy. The real challenge, the holy grail of trading, is consistency. And this book provides a set of really powerful tools to help you build it. So what's the most important tool in your entire arsenal? It's the trading journal. But not just a boring log of wins and losses. The authors frame it as a high-performance diagnostic tool. You need to record not just the signal, but also your emotional state at the time, and, most importantly, whether you actually followed your own rules. Because when you go back and review it with brutal honesty, your journal will become your most trusted mentor. It's going to reveal the hidden patterns in your behavior, the specific types of signals you're afraid to take, the moments when greed completely hijacks your decision-making, the market conditions that cause you to abandon your plan. It will show you in black and white the gap between what your system should be doing and what you are actually doing. And this all leads to a really crucial distinction in how you evaluate your performance. You have to ask, are you losing money while following your rules to the letter? If so, hey, maybe the system itself needs a little tune-up for the current market. But if you're losing money because you're breaking your own rules, well, the problem isn't the system. The problem is the trader. And that's where the real work has to begin. And that leaves us with the final, powerful question that this entire book is built around. When you look at your trading results with complete and total honesty, what's the real source of your losses? Is it the method you're using, or is it your inconsistent emotional application of that method? The answer to that question, right there, is the key that will unlock your full potential as a trader.